Welcome back to your #1 top for PSO2 New Genesis gameplay, how-to, and all that jazz. And today, we are literally a few hours away from the launch of Kvaris for New Genesis. And I'm of course going to be discussing some of the stuff, and not only that, what I'm hoping to see at the launch later tonight, which I will be streaming, by the way, here on YouTube. So make sure you do thumbs up, subscribe so you don't miss that. But I am also going to be talking about stuff that I am hoping we will see, hopefully in the window of the new expansion, and hopefully content and a certain like quality of life stuff that hopefully will be added to NGS, and hopefully in return make NGS a better game for all of us. So to start off, let's go ahead and begin here with, of course, hopefully content that won't just be battle sectors. So, as what I'm meaning here, it mainly PSO New Genesis, and as far as Alio and Retain is concerned, we have a big issue of our in-game boiling down to hanging out in a battle sector, fighting the same X number enemy hundreds, thousands of times for just bare minimum items such as relics that will have such a low drop rate that it honestly just become pointless. I want something that is a little bit better here, something a little more desirable. And I know we have like battle dias and cocoons and whatnot, but let's be honest, that content as of now is extremely short and not the most deep as well. I would honestly like to have some type of carrot on the stick, any if we have to do that is not 100% RNG. Meaning, I would like to have something that we can look at. Might it be from a NPC? Might it be from like a Zig character? That we can have, like, say, a upgraded version of a weapon that is, better in whatever percentage. And we have a clear goal when we look at it to be like, oh, we can get that if we do X, Y, and Z. Instead of we can get it by doing combat sector and just hope for RNG to be on our side. I want some type of carrot on a stick here. Ideally, I know we have, of course, the Kvaris Ability 6 weapons, with, of course, the prep tickets. That is good. That is honestly really good. Like, one of them, like, half step to what I'm wanting. But from my understanding, feel free to let me know in the comment if I was wrong, or it was qualified, or that was just a mid-translation inside of the headline stream. That type of stuff is not going to be around long after the launch of Kvaris, and more as a way to get people caught up for Kvaris. I would like to have something like that a little more long term, which the obvious example of this will be something more like in Bait PSO2, where we had the whole badge system or medal system. Well, doing certain content will give us certain badges that then could be traded in for, cosmetic, weapon skin, weapons, something of that sort. It would be nice to see that kind of come back. We kind of have a little bit of that. Then we do have a core HE and AC medals, as well as in medals as well, that we have got from like the mission pass and flop shops. But it'd be nice to actually see something to be actually useful for them beyond the bare minimum of extra Ethereum for like an hour. I want something a little more in depth there. And as far of like the other side of that would be something like Zig. Well, of course, you will have to get like, say, a weapon, level the weapon to a certain percentage, with other crafting material, mixing it all together to make a updated weapon, or the net tilt up weapon. Like, ideally, if that do come back, I would honestly, once again, just like I was saying earlier, of having something that we can easily look at and know exactly how to do or how long it might take. So if we do finally get this, I am hoping, unlike the Zig stuff, that we can look at it and be like, oh, we need this item, and then easily be able to find out this item dropped from this area, from this monster, and heal the percentages. Or something along them lines. Something there to just, if they do want to keep a little bit of RNG, something that will still be more desirable than spending thousands of hours trying to farm an item such as a relic, and never getting, or getting one that you will not use for your character. So it'd be a little bit more better if, once again, we do have the carrot. And speaking of items and weapon, the next discussion I want to have here is, of course, with just how much junk we get in PSO. As all you know, we are going to be getting a auto sell function into premium, as well as, of course, being able to buy it with HE and maybe AC. I believe it mainly HE to actually buy X number a day of auto selling that will be added in kvaris. But I would like it to go like one step a little farther here. On one hand, have it set up, well, of course, you could auto sell the items if you want. Be nice to actually have that for everybody, but, sadly, it is what it is. But also have a version of that, especially if we're going to start introducing Zig-style stuff with crafting and item farming, would be, of course, to have the lower-end items that we are getting from, of course, just doing the normal content, the origin quest. Pretty much every will, let's be honest, pretty much every quest pretty much give a high level of junk at that point. But actually have a point for said junk. Because any with the auto selling thing that coming in, you still only going to be making, a couple, 100 Maceta, every couple minute or so. Because it doesn't pay out all that well. So why not actually take the item, make it useful? By having, of course, the ability to break down the items into materials that you then, of course, can, just like in PSO2, you could actually trade in to, like, Zig to unlock certain things. Or, like, Elite have another example of that, of having, like, pretty much a kill tree similar to, I guess you could say similar to, like, Monster Hunter here, of showing you all the weapons that are in the game. And then, of course, show a percentage of, like, example he'll be like the Weldy 6th weapon will take, in the list you will go down to the weapon and in there it will say, like, 10 metal from a Weldy 2 weapon. Having like representation of items that you need to get, and as well as make the lower end junked up that is pointless right now, giving it some type of actual meaning and a reason to actually be getting it junked up. Add a point to the uselessness of NGS back into the game, and once again, leading back into my last point, leaning towards a Keldon stick that we can, of course, walk to heals. And then the next thing is, of course, with getting the deck counter coming in here with, of course, doing triggers and previous story mission. I want the ability to not only you could have the listed at the deck counter, but also scatter around in the environment as well here. Because what I would like to see is start seeing some proper dungeon coming in. Once again, I know we got Battle Dia, I know we got the Pyramid, we got Cocoons. But let's be honest, them types of missions is not quite what I am talking about here. Which is, of course, what I'm talking about. It mainly might be to the deck counter, or once again, finding out and about, to just be areas very, very, pretty much almost one-to-one with what we had in PSO2 with expositions here. With, of course, have ability to find the dungeons, or whatever, to actually take part in, make the, 4 to 8 player, whatever you want, and have the dungeons a theme to the area. So if you find it in Watain, you have a Watain version. Find it in kvaris, you have an ice area, but have dungeons that are completely random as far of what you will find layout wise. Like I said, literally how it is in PSO2, and of course for a boss at the end. And of course, if you want to make it any more interesting, is of course pretty much can add random bosses or random like trials event happening in the dungeon. And of course, by having them completely random, you can also, once again, introduce metals or material that will, like, feed right back into what we were saying earlier about having a carrot on the stick or getting material to unlock the carrot. And you have some type of activity here that would be a little more interesting and just not nearly as pointless as a battle sector is, where you can go to one to get the items, as well as any if you don't get a billion to level, for say, but having, like, activity you can actually do with your friends that is extremely more randomized, as well as, of course, giving you a separate appearance that you can have in co-op. So pretty much what I'm saying, just take the dungeons out of PSO2 and put it in New Genesis. I will be extremely happy, and making a random will, of course, add some variety there. And then, of course, while you add it, maybe, hopefully, in the future, we will start seeing as well, like, time trials and all the other stuff that also appeared in PSO2 as well. And moving from that into, of course, I get more co-op stuff here would be interesting to have. is of course finally start elaborating a little bit more as far of the alliance are concerned. Because right now we do have, of course, alliance guild system inside of New Genesis. We are getting an NPC very soon, where you're going to be able to do quests for them to then turn in material for items. Right now, that seems about it, and it doesn't seem like it actually going to be any type of co-op tied here, or not a overall goal that you're working towards with your alliance. Since in bait PSO, we did have a proton tree that people got point for doing different activities in the game, that you can then take said points and go spend it by either upgrading your alliance hall or zone, whatever you want to call it, or by putting it towards a tree that will grow, and as it get bigger and bigger, it will give more bonuses such as extra experience, extra well drops, and so on. Having something as far like working with alliance member, might it be with them in your party, or why everybody doing their own thing, would be a fantastic addition here, and also something to add a little bit more to alliance. Cause right now, alliance is nothing more than its own private chat room and a symbol above your head. It'd be nice to actually have something that you can work together as a community, as well as, of course, bringing in other stuff that we have seen in the past, such as, of course, again for the alliance housing, as well as like having actual like achievement for you to actually get like medals and stuff, like in bait PSO, where you can actually decorate your house, being like example being like for alliance to complete like a super hard origin quest, such as like the new .4 quest that coming up, or something of that sort. But something to add more community to PSO, because I feel like right now PSO2 is, the community is a little fragmented, to say it, the bare minimum here. But nonetheless, it's like having something to work together with your friends or other people in the alliance. I would highly would like to see that. And once again, actually add a little bit more of a point to being an alliance, as well as also any more stuff to be carrot on the stick. And speaking of more carrots on the stick, because that is pretty much the basis of this video at that point, is of course actually adding point to side activities and cocoons, as well as Battle Dia Beyond loot. What I am talking about here is, of course, as we have seen with like cocoons, how they have like a leaderboard or personal best as far as doing side activities in it, or getting through the fact that type of stuff. And even more so when we get the introduction of like races, especially now we're getting like triggers also involved here. It would honestly be nice to start seeing proper leaderboards coming in here. So example here would be, have a leaderboard, one will be for you, have another one for your friends, have one for your alliance, and then have one that is for the entire ship. That way, in the case of like races, you can actually, instead of just competing with your friends, and in return may or may not get anything worthwhile, we will have to wait and see what we actually going to get for doing that activity. But just imagine if we had it not only for personal bet, but have it set up well, like every month or so, the server will do like a refresh, and whoever in like the top 10 of the leaderboard would receive, as example, like 3 days of premium, or maybe a month of premium, or some extra star gems, or turn in some, AC items from previous, activities, or I should say from previous scratches. Like, add something there that will be something that is a little more desirable, and something that actually be worth actually competing. And then for the people who very much get into them set activities, actually have, once again, something to work towards in the case of like races. If you have something good there, I'm pretty sure there will be certain players that would literally just sit down and try to cut off fractions of seconds off of them time to either be the best overall, or just be the best to unlock, premium or AC item that they could then sell or keep. Give the ability to actually get the more desirable items, as well as a way for non-pay player who pull scratches to actually get some of the stuff. And also on that point, the next thing would be the AC stuff. So when it comes to AC scratches, having a point system, having a gotcha mechanic, it kind of whatever. That is just, sadly, just video games right now if you're in the free-to-play side, right along with the whole loot box stuff. Well, like, what I would like to see, which we have seen this a little bit with the mission pack, but not fully, would be, as example, if an AC scratch item comes out or scratches come out, after that scratch in, like maybe, maybe wait like a month, maybe 2 months, whatever it might be, have it just be drops, have that be introduction into like NPC shops for like the bad system we were talking about earlier. Or have it, well, hey, you defeat like the gigantic, or dude, my random dungeon ideal. Like, have the item just start populating into the overall loot table. And then that way you run into two cases here. On one hand, for the people who missed out on that because they weren't playing or they knew or whatever might be the reason, will have a chance to get their hands on it. So make the drop rate, don't make it like relic level by any means, but, the drop rate can be a little lower if need be to help out, to actually add, motivation for people to farm there. I just don't want anything as insane as relics. But on the other hand, outside of people who missed it, giving them a chance to get it, that also will give people chances to hopefully farm some of the item, especially if you thought specifically putting this stuff behind certain content to keep content relevant. Then, for the people who have farming this stuff, will also put more of the items on the player shop and hopefully bring down the price a little bit, which in return will bring down some of the inflation a bit, especially since, as we all know, most of the inflation stuff from PSO when it comes to like player shop stuff is of course coming from AC item getting into the multi-million. So by given an opportunity to get the true enemy, we'll hopefully drop that down. Hopefully not to the point of like weapons being literally 1,000 Maceta, which is nothing, but something more reasonable, like in like the 50 to maybe 1 to 2 million range. Something that is a little more, doable for most player, especially if you're a free-to-play player. And then on top of that, also, like I say, give a chance for the free-to-play player getting their hands on it from the player shop, from farming it, especially if they can't do AC stuff. But make sure after the AC is gone, it a more frail shot here. And for the people who spent money trying to get it, they had them chance to get it, and now they can go out and farm it at will if they want. And then on the AC scratch side here, the main thing I would like to see here from the AC scratch moving forward here is a little more open freedom here, especially since we are not going to get, like the Fret Find shop back. I know we get in the treasure shop, but as we have seen, it doesn't look like you're going to be like cosmetic up or anything in there for say of importance on that end. I thought like the Fret Find shop did. So with that, if the item do stay in AC, and exclusively the AC, or any if it does do my ideal of, loot everywhere after a certain point, I kind of with AC Scratchy will move more into the camp of options here. Because right now, you can do at number pool, and then you can pick whatever item you want. I kind of wanted to be like, hey, we're going to delete the scratch, heal the items, heal the percentages, pay $2, do a pool if you want. Or have it where like, hey, you want that item, like say like a hair or outfit you want, then have that just be like, either you can do the pools and get it, or you can just pay a flat rate to unlock it. That one of them like freedom things I would like. Ideally, it wouldn't be super insane amount of money, but also at the same time, I honestly don't think that will probably happen, mainly because I'm pretty sure they could probably make way more money off random chance, obviously, than just offering it up front. But it would be nice to see that coming in, because once again, more freedom and more specific lines of getting the material would be more ideal than just random chance, because let's be honest, like most games right now, PSO is literally majority a random chance. So if we can nip that in the butt as much as possible, that would be a little more ideal. And of course, by nipping in the butt, you will once again have to make other content way more interesting, which brings me to my previous points. And the last thing I would like to see, at least mechanically here, because the story is the whole thing, we need better story. Hopefully we will get there. But as far as like mechanics and introduction that I would like to see coming into New Genesis with Kvaris or in the near future, would be, from what you guys are probably already gathering, is of course a interconnected way of content. Meaning, one content will actually bleed into another content, and then that content will bleed into another content. In the way of pretty much making sure there is a way of, if you're doing, like I said, if you're doing like battle sectors while you're leveling, you are, of course, unlocking, item to be traded in for items, or having chances to get AC scratch item once they all did continue, or getting like items like the Battle Dia stuff for, of course, unlocking like Battle Dia stuff have, of course, have like trigger dropping, and then have like the triggers or the races like competing on times, and of course having like leaderboards that then will move motivation to do, time trial stuff. Like, I just want content and PSO to move into a way that not completely just RNG with repetitive actions, to content that no matter what content you do, you will always be feeding to the overall thing. I just want content that's gonna feed into each other, which is the court we're in, or might be fashion, battle power, levels as a whole. Just something to always keep us all motivated and feel like we are constantly always making progress in one way or another. And also making the content stay relevant beyond 2 to 3 days. And of course, other way to do that would be like, a side note here would be like introducing like a level scaling system, such as level sync from like Final Fantasy 11, 14. I believe 14 have it. I think even WoW have it at that point. Some type of mechanic that will motivate as well as higher level player to do lower end content, as well as, of course, help out new player. Because as PSO is going, and especially with how the content is right now of being very much battle sectors, and then everything else is pretty much dead in a week beyond dread farming. Like, that is not a real good way to keep the content around, and will become more and more harder for new players coming in who need places to level, need content to level in, that won't be just like so much like pulling teeth just to get to a level on their own to start doing the content that would be more relevant at the moment. Like, we just need some type of like connectionness here to help out old player, new player, and returning players, as well as helping out free-to-play player and paid players, and also still give it an opportunity to, of course, help with inflation as well, items, and just overall stop the burnout of literally running in circle, killing 5 enemies over and over in a battle zone. Will this stuff happen? I can only hope, and we will see. And of course, with that, let me know in the comment below what you think Sega should be introducing here, or what type of content that you think need to get a little more love or some changes. Let me know below, and while you are down there, make sure you do the thumbs up, subscribe, hit all the bells below, and of course, don't forget, I will be streaming Kvaris. I will be live as soon as Kvaris go live, supposed to be at 3 a.m. at the time of that video. We will see. I personally think we're gonna wake up at 3 a.m. and be checking Twitter for like 4 hours, but nonetheless, we will cross that bridge in the morning since we are a few hours away. So of course, you can check out my live stream here on YouTube, or you can come on over to twitch.tv/TroyMaconn and watch over there as well, whichever is easier for you. And of course, if you do want to support the channel, you can do it in a few ways by hitting that wonderful join button below, coming on over to patreon.com/Maconn, or subscribing over on Twitch, either with gifted subs or Amazon Prime, whatever suits your fancy. And of course, I would like to get and thank you for everybody that is supporting me for now. Thank you, my dudes. And with that, that will go ahead and do it for me. And he'll hoping Kvaris is good, and he'll hoping that is not going to be a train wreck. Finger crossed. And with my finger crossed, I will see you all in the comments.